Hello, my name's Luke Lau, Subject Coordinator for ACM 2003 Interactive Programming at Victoria University. In this video tutorial, we're going to cover the basics of buttons in Adobe Flash. Now, buttons in Adobe Flash are one of these key elements that basically are is one of the pillars of interaction that you're actually going to be the interaction that you're going to be creating in this program. They're really easy to do, and hopefully we'll cover some of the basic mistakes people make and make sure that you don't follow those same mistakes. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is just draw out a regular circle on the stage, and that's going to be our button. Now, let's, like the movie clips, click and drag so we'll highlight and everything, and we'll convert into a movie clip. Now, the shortcut for this is F8, and we're going to call this black BTN. And then the type, we've got to make sure we get this right. The type is button, not movie clip. So just ensure that the type is button. Let's go OK. And let's rename the layer to test BTN. Oh, actually. Now, let's just test this movie, Apple Enter. And when we highlight over it, the cursor changes from this regular black cursor to a hand with a pointer. So that you click down on it, and it's supposed to indicate that you can touch this. Okay, now that's good, but it's not enough visual information to the end user. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the button, its appearance, when we hover over it and when we click down on it. So we double click into the button. So I'll just go back to scene 1, double click, and this is the timeline for the button. And to get back, you just click on the scene, just here. So just double click. It's a different timeline here. Click back on scene 1. Now scene 1's our original movie. This is our original timeline. We double click, and it's the timeline inside the button. Now you can see we've got 4 different layers. We've got an up, an over, a down, and a hit. So let's change each one of these. Now to add on to this, what we're going to simply do, insert keyframe on each one. Insert keyframe and insert keyframe. Now let's change the colors for each one of these. So just click on over and we'll change the fill to green. And go down and we change the fill to red. And then hit, let's change this to bright pink. Now, after we've done that, go back to scene 1, control, test movie. We just highlight, goes green, press down, turns red, then we release, it goes back to green, and then when we hover out of it, it goes black. So hover in, it's green, press down, it's red, still hovering, it's green, and then release. So as you can see, when double click, when we go inside the movie, over is when the mouse is inside the actual object. Down is when you're pressing down on the button, but we don't know what hit is. There was nothing that popped up that made this object turn pink. So, to show you what this actually does, let's draw a large pink circle on the hit frame. Let's go back to scene 1, which can be just found here. Control and test movie. Okay, now what happens is, we're activating the button way outside the shape of the actual button itself. And we press down, it turns red. We still can't see this pink area, but the button itself is now a lot larger. And we're actually even interacting with the button outside of the circle. So, now based on these findings, we can say that the hit area, the hit zone, is actually the area where the button behaves like a button. It doesn't have any graphical requirement. It doesn't actually do anything graphical at all. It doesn't do anything that the end user can see, but it actually just defines the area where the button is a button. Now, this comes in handy in a variety of situations. Let's create another layer. Let's create let's call this a moon button. So we're going to draw the moon. And the moon's not pink. Let's make that a little bit of a grey. Okay, and we're just going to... Okay, that's roughly the crescent of the moon. A really weird Pac-Man. Okay, convert that again into a button and call this moon BTN. BTN is the suffix for buttons when you actually name them. Movie clip, MC was for movie clips, BTN is for button. Okay, so we've got a button here. And now you've got moon button and scene 1, so we can navigate between those two by just going, double-clicking and then going back to scene 1. What I'd like you to do, and this is the shortcut, instead of going right-click and insert keyframe, you just press F6. And that inserts the keyframes for you. So let's change the color of the over and down, and leave the hit as it is. We're just going to test this movie. You can see the button doesn't act like a button in this area here, this gap here. But it acts when you actually hover over it. Now that's a little bit annoying, especially if the user's just trying to quickly, navigate between the site. And this area here is just going to become problematic. So what we can do, double click in this area, go on to hit, and drag this out here. And now what we can see is the button now behaves like a button in this gap. Is because on the hit zone I've expanded it so this area here is covered. And that's the reason why we have a hit zone. Because the hit zone defines where the button behaves like a button. And it's not necessarily exactly the same area than the actual button, the actual physical location of the button, or the physical parameters of the button. And we may need to extend it to fill out gaps. Okay, well, that ends this tutorial on how to create buttons and how to modify them. If you have any questions, please speak to your tutor. Otherwise, post it up on the bulletin board and one of your peers, friends, or even myself will actually answer that for you. I thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Goodbye.